If you've watched my videos for a while, you'll know that I'm pretty particular about cleaning my gadgets and electronics, anywhere from cleaning my keyboard and mouse to my monitors to entire computers. And today I wanted to talk about all of the tools I go ahead and use for cleaning all these things, and I think that they apply to people who are at a hobbyist level of electronics, but also people who just have their electronics and are afraid to clean them. These tools will make all of that kind of stuff way easier. I will leave affiliate links down in the description below for everything I talk about today, so if you do want to go ahead and pick them up, if you use those links, it really does help me out. So first I want to talk about the physical tools that I use on a regular basis. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I use e-dusters and air canisters all the time. If you've ever talked to anybody in the IT world, you'll know that air dusters are an incredible thing to use. They don't build up static electricity like a physical duster would, and they really help you get into those nooks and crannies. Now, I use my e-duster for a majority of these things, but I will use an air canister when I need a really high pressure stream of air because it has a much smaller nozzle and does a really good job. But I do try to avoid things that end up getting thrown out like those air canisters. Now, paper towels are extremely useful, but I don't use them as much anymore. I prefer trying to use microfiber cloths instead. I'll use a microfiber cloth for a majority of things. One, they're easy to clean afterwards. I can go ahead and just throw them in the wash. I use those to clean things like monitors, TVs, just wipe down things. Microfiber cloths are amazing. I also have disposable microfiber cloths that I use for really messy things. For example, cleaning off thermal paste. I use the disposable ones because I don't want to gunk up my microfiber cloths. Thermal paste is infamously an absolute mess. So I'll use some disposable ones that I have. I also have to use those disposable ones when using my resin printer. Those disposable microfiber cloths are incredible for that. And as much as I try not to throw things away, these are way better for me than using paper towel. Paper towel usually leaves behind a lot of fibers, whereas the disposable microfiber cloths don't do that. I can get a whole package of them for relatively cheap, and they last me a long time because I only use them when cleaning electronics that I don't want to leave lint or fibers behind on. I also use cotton swabs to get into smaller areas that the cloths cannot get into very easily. I also use it to clean more delicate things that I don't want to have to put too much pressure on. I have very chunky fingers, so trying to use a cloth in smaller areas and still be gentle is a little bit more difficult. So I will go ahead and use cotton swabs for that. I use it for everything from getting into little nooks and crannies to also just cleaning things like my thumbsticks on my controllers. And the last physical tool that I use are actually toothpicks. Now, if you've ever used a mouse for a very long time or a controller or anything, you'll know that sometimes you can get a little bit of buildup of certain things on your devices, and using a toothpick is a really good way to break all of that kind of stuff up. And then you can go ahead and use something like a cotton swab, microfiber cloth, or an e-duster to remove all that kind of stuff. But sometimes just rubbing it with a cloth isn't going to do it, and using that toothpick can really get into really tight areas without scratching anything, which is nice. Loosen up all that kind of stuff, and then you can use your other tools to get rid of it. Now, the liquids that I use with all these tools is also extremely important, but they have to be used properly. Many of you may know that using alcohol, rubbing alcohol, isopropyl, any of these things is really great for cleaning electronics because it evaporates, it doesn't leave behind moisture, doesn't leave behind residue, and it's really great for cleaning things. I have a ton of isopropyl, not only for my electronics, but again for my 3D printer. For the resin, I have to use isopropyl to clean a lot of these things to make sure that they stay clean. And it helps break down a lot of the resin, so that's great. So I do use a lot of isopropyl. I have it in both regular bottles, but I've also bought a cheap dollar store spray bottle that I use to spray isopropyl on things where I want to get a little bit more of a coverage, but I don't want to pour isopropyl on anything. I'll use the spray bottle. It makes life really easy. Isopropyl, however, is a very strong solution, so on certain materials, it'll actually cause damage. Things like the plastic on your monitor or your TV. Certain plastics on maybe some of your controllers. Some rubbers don't hold up very well either. And with these, I highly suggest just using some very diluted dish soap in warm water, and that does the trick for a majority of these. Again, I have some great guides on how to clean most things at your desk. If there's anything that you would like me to cover in terms of how to clean, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below, and I will make a video for it. If it's something that the dish soap and water will not get rid of, I will use isopropyl, but I will always double check the material that I'm going to be using it on first and ensuring that I don't let it sit on there for too long, no matter what. But yeah, I just want to help people be more confident and comfortable cleaning their things more often. Because I help so many people fixing things or just going ahead and helping them set up things, I see a lot of people's setups, and honestly, some of them they're rough. They're pretty rough. And I just wish people would take the time to clean things a little bit more often. Take care of your stuff. It'll last way longer. You'll be able to keep things living for so long if you just take care of them, keep them clean. Your computer, your peripherals, your displays, all of that kind of stuff. The better you take care of it, the longer it'll last you, and the less goes into a landfill. But I really hope that this video helped you out and be a little bit more confident and comfortable cleaning your stuff. If it did, I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribed. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. If there's any tools or things that I did not mention that you use to clean your stuff, please let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to know. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors, Thought Slime and Step Back, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to see a playlist of all of my how to clean guides, you can go ahead and check out the playlist right up here. As always, stay safe out there. I'll see you next Saturday.